This is the Jocko Underground podcast, number 35. Echo Charles sitting here with me. And we missed a week of Underground. Apologies. And then I got reminded, we got reminded why we have the Underground, why we have JockoUnderground.com. The reason is because we realized a while ago that we don't control any of the platforms that we put our podcast out on. On top of that, we don't control the platforms that we interact with people on social media. We don't control those platforms. We don't control YouTube. We don't control the algorithms. We don't control any of the podcast feeds that are out there. So that's not a good situation to be in, where you have no control over your own destiny, where you have to bow to control of a greater entity that you have no control over. So we started this, what you're listening to right now, Jocko Underground, JockoUnderground.com. We started it. We actually started it. We did a podcast about the book 1984, in light of the freedom of speech being impinged upon. I actually called you as driving home and said, "Bro, we need to come up with a contingency plan in case something happens." So we created this, and we created as a contingency. Right. And really, quite frankly, there had been very limited indicators that we would have to utilize the contingency. Well, for us personally, we did see other people get impacted, friends, associates, where all of a sudden they'd get banned, they'd get kicked off, they'd get demonetized, all these problems. Well, guess what just happened? I ended up getting shadow banned on social media. And I got on a specific social media platform, I got banned, or shadow banned, they called it, which is a weird thing because I didn't really know. And I kind of can look back now, and people have explained to me, and I've looked at some, analytics, and seen that it was actually for a longer period of time than I initially thought. But someone finally, a couple people had mentioned it in comments, "Bro, you're shadow banned, you're shadow banned." And I'd think, well, okay, whatever. It's sort of like I appreciate people saying I wasn't blowing them off, but I didn't. Hey, how are you seeing this? You're seeing it, so you're writing your shadow ban. How? I didn't pay much attention to it. I should have listened. But then I finally started getting a couple people sending me videos of them searching for my name or scrolling through their timeline, and I'm not in it, and they follow me. Or typing my name into the search, and it doesn't show up unless you literally put @JockoWillink. Right. Anything else, you put Jocko Willink, I'm not in there. That's called a shadow ban. And what's strange about this is, look, you all listen to me. You know what I talk about. I don't usually talk in any hyper political way. I sometimes do that on interviews, but as far as social, I'll do it on podcasts a little bit. But as far as social media goes, I rarely will post something that's, some political statement for a few reasons. Number one, I think that social media is a bad place to discuss politics. And if I want to discuss something political, I want to have as much time as I want to discuss it. And so that's why I'll usually do it on a podcast. But I'm not posting anything offensive. I really don't post a lot of stuff that's like, hyper controversial. Now, if I do, it's when I do post things that to express my political beliefs, normally, what I do is I do it in a way where it's an indirect message. Yeah. The message is, if you understand what I'm saying, the message is very clear. If you're looking for someone to ban, it might not hit your algorithm. Well, why do I do that? Well, there's a couple of reasons why I do that. Number one, because I want people to listen to what I'm saying. I want them to be able to listen to what I'm saying. And number two, if you're on the other side of my political beliefs and you hear me directly attack what you believe, you probably aren't going to listen to anything else I say. So I'd rather take an indirect approach, like I do with most things, because the indirect approach, proven, is a more effective way to communicate and to move forward. So kind of surprised me when I got shadow banned. So why did I get shadow banned? I'm not 100% sure, but here are my best guesses. And there are two things that stand out that I've done over the past couple months that I think could have made me a target. And like I said, I'm not exactly sure when I got shadow banned, but it could have been for a pretty long stretch because I don't pay a ton of attention to that kind of thing. I don't pay very close attention to, this thing got this many likes or this many views or this many followers. I don't pay a lot of attention to that. So when I went back and did a retro look at it, I realized, this has been going on for a while.
Yeah.
This has been going on for a while. So why did it happen? Here's my two best guesses. The first was So that is a little excerpt of what we are doing on the Jocko Underground podcast. So if you want to continue to listen, go to jockounderground.com and subscribe. And we're doing this to mitigate our reliance on external platforms so we are not subject to their control. And we're doing this so that we can support the Jocko podcast, which will remain as is, free for all, as long as we can keep it that way. But we are doing this so we don't have to be under the control of sponsors. And we're doing it so we can give you more control, more interaction, more direct connections, better communications with us. And to do that, we're building a website right now where we'll be able to utilize to strengthen this legion of troopers that are in the game with us. So thank you. It's jockounderground.com. It costs $8.18 a month. And if you can't afford to support us, we can still support you. Just email assistance@jockounderground.com and we'll get you taken care of. Until then, we will see you mobilized underground.